Hi, everyone. My name is Renee Moorefield, and I'm CEO of Works. Recently, I had a conversation with Keith Cocking, a seasoned leader at a global retail company, and he said something that may completely shift your perspective about what it means to lead well. He shared that if a leader wants to drive better results, the most courageous thing they could do is to lead with love. Now, this isn't about being soft. It's about shifting from a scarcity mindset to abundance thinking. Instead of asking, how do we maximize profit? Keith is asking more expansive questions. How do we maximize profit and live our values and support our community? That little word and changes everything. It moves us from either or to both and thinking. For me, Keith's insights remind us that our legacy won't be measured in quarterly reports or performance metrics. It'll be measured in how much we help others be effective, grow, be well, and thrive. So check out this month's Be Well, Lead Well newsletter for my conversation with Keith and ask yourself, where could you adopt an abundance mindset so that you and your team not only achieve better results, but thrive in life and work? Where could you lead with love? I have been interviewing people around the world and asking them basically the same questions about what it means to thrive in this, this time in our world and what that means for how we lead. Um, every conversation has been completely different,
Mm.
absolutely completely different. So I love that there's no right answer to these questions, that this is really an exploration. You have been in the retail sector in leadership development for many, many, many years. So before I dive into any questions, I would love for you to share for whoever is watching or listening to this a little bit about your story. So, what got you to this moment in your world, your leadership development world?
I've been passionate about learning since I was a kid, I
Mhm.
think. Um, and it was probably when I got into the working world, it was more on the instructional design and learning strategy aspect of things. And I enjoyed the kind of chess game that is of the strategic part of that of learning. And I worked for a lot of different organizations doing that. And I think about 9 years ago, I found home for me, which is on development. It's leadership development, but I consider it just human development is what it is. Because when you become a better leader, you become a better human being. And that has shown up in my life through doing both leadership training, doing coaching, and also being certified in Be Well, Lead Well Pulse as well.
Hmm. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, I know that one of the questions we talk about even in the certification program, but now it's even more disruptive than what we've talked about in the program. In this time in our world that there's so much disruption, so much turbulence, so much sense of uncertainty, which people are really experiencing, not just individually, but collectively.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you think it means to thrive as a human being during this time on our planet?
I think no matter what's going on in the world, it's how can you be the best version of you to where you're being the fullest expression of you, and how can you help others be the best version of themselves?
Mm.
And we are bombarded with chaos, seems a bit strong, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot of disruption going on right now. And even with that disruption, to stay focused on those two principles of how can I help myself be better and how can I help others be better and live happy and fulfilled? I mean, what's more glorious than that? I think you can take that mission statement, if you will, and put it in any period of history,
Mm.
and it still resonates.
I actually love what you're saying there because in conversations I'm having right now with lots of leaders at all different levels, what I'm hearing is a lot of angst and a lot of I'm not sure what my work to do it is to do right now. Like it's kind of crazy making right now. What is my work to do? And yet what you're saying is it's not that hard. Your work is to, improve yourself, to the extent you can, be a better human being, and to improve the lives of others.
Yeah.
How can you be a source of uplift for other people? So it's kind of that simple. It's that hard, but also that simple.
Yes, it is hard. I'm glad you said that. It is hard, but it's glorious as well. It's uh,
Hmm.
it's amazing, and I think that's even for with what is going on in the world where there's a lot of polarization,
Hmm.
to where you can still wish that for folks who may think differently for you. What a glorious challenge that is as well,
Hmm.
especially with the political polarization right now. How can you want that for others and even help them with that as well?
Yeah. So when you say want the best life,
Yeah.
people, and really support them in their best life, whatever that is, even if you have very different opinions on politics or religion or whatever it is. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think there's a belief of abundance there versus scarcity with
Yeah.
whatever people are achieving. I'm not necessarily speaking, I guess, of resources. I'm talking about fulfillment there, but there's a belief in abundance that there's enough for everybody versus a scarcity where I have to hoard it for people like me who think like me, et cetera. It's for everybody, and we're all better for it.
Yeah. It's interesting, because I've also been thinking a lot about abundance and reciprocity and those kinds of ideas. And it's such a fundamentally different way of looking at the world and experiencing the world as abundant, that it's not a zero-sum game,
Hmm.
that there really is enough for everybody, and that the idea is to make the pie bigger. Let's all make the pie bigger so that it really works for everybody. That feels like a very different worldview for many people versus a zero sum sort of game. And I see it as a leadership quality that I really hope to see more of in people that are, first off, because you and I've talked about this. I think everyone is a leader. Everyone can be a leader. You step into a certain stance that
Yeah.
you want to support yourself and others. Everyone can be a leader. But for people who are in positions of power, I'll say it that way, I'd love to see more of that kind of worldview and mindset driving behavior.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering if you are noticing any ways of leading that are emerging, especially for people in power, ways of leading that are emerging that
Yeah.
you feel like are supporting thriving people and a thriving planet.
Yeah. One of the things I've seen that I'm 53 years old,
Hmm.
and there's organizations right now that companies will hire that will provide coaching for their associates and
Hmm.
their employees. That didn't exist when I came into the workforce. And I'm not talking about just executive coaching, which has been around forever. I'm talking about coaching for lots of layers in the organization. And that is something that is emerging that I'm really excited about, that companies are willing to invest in that. Um, and I think companies are just more focused on growth of their associates because I think maybe in the past there was a belief of what happens if I invest and they stay, or pardon me, and they go somewhere else.
Hmm.
Um, but now I think it's more if they know if they have a employee who's at their best, they're going to be happy and they're going to provide the best results as well.
Yeah,
I think we're seeing more of that as well, which is nice.
yeah, that is great. That more of that coaching model, really a coaching culture, coaching organization, an organization that sees people can come, we can be an organization where people come to work and they become more capable by virtue of being here. And that's part of an attraction for being here. That's why people want to stay because
Yeah.
they feel like they're growing as human beings and they're growing as people. Is there anything else that you're noticing?
Um, what else am I noticing? I'm going to look at my notes.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that another thing I'm noticing is that in organizations, for-profit organizations, the question is still how can we make the most profit? But there's some ands with that as well.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's shifted to how can we make the most profit and live a set of values or live a set of shared values? How can we make the most profit and do it in partnership with the community? How can we make the most profit and do it sustainably as well? The questions have shifted. It's not just let's grab as much money as we can. It's also how can we do this, not only what we do, but how we do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been noticing that shift too. I think it's a big one. It's like the shift that you mentioned with abundance, like
Mhm.
really that mindset of abundance, and also coaching, really seeing your role as someone who is to develop people. You know, the role of, and if I'm in power, my role is to develop others.
Yeah,
Well, like to build leaders in the organization. Um, this idea that how we work is as important as the results we get. So, results being profit, or results being team performance, or results being whatever those results are, that the how we do that is as important as those results. And we can attend to the how to get better results. That is a very different
agreed.
mindset. Yeah.
I think there's more acceptance of being human as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
I can think of an example that happened to me this year. Of a son who we had some challenges with this summer. Just we're learning a lot more about our son and some of the just how he was growing and evolving. And I remember I was came to work one day and it was someone's first day, and I was going to be their coach to help onboard them in the role. And I was in a meeting, and I wasn't as present as I wanted to be. And my leader came into the room. One of my leaders came into the room and looked at me, and he could see I was off. He said in the most kind, human way, he just said, Keith, I just want to let you know I see you.
Wow.
And boy, that hit me.
Hmm.
And I remember later on, we took a break, and all that was pent up came out. And
Hmm.
my leader and my other leader came and just saw me and hung out with me. And that day, it was one of those days like, I need to head home for the rest of the day. And they got it. They got it. And in the past, I think I don't know in the past, but I know in some organizations it could be keep the human stuff away. I've seen a shift where it's more be human, and
Hmm.
we're going to help you be human as well.
And what did that do for you personally?
Um, it helped me be where I was at,
Hmm.
and not shove it down. Um, and it also showed a lot of care and concern. That was the thing that really helped is through that leader's love, care, and concern. Um, it helped me process through what I was going through.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Just the way he said that, I just want to let you know, Keith, I see you. Just
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. That is a very aware leader, and that's a lot of empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Are there any other skills that you can think of that when you think of like qualities and skills that are really going to support a way of thriving as a leader?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know one of the things I appreciate about Wisdom Works and you is that you look for the data.
Hmm.
Um, in addition to the data, I think there's just a, which is as important as what in my opinion, what I'm about to say is just the aspect of love.
Hmm.
Um, when it comes to trying to be the best version of you and helping other people be the best version of you. I attended someone's funeral, and during the service, someone was speaking about this person's life, and they said this person led with love. And those three words to me are so powerful
Hmm.
that when you have that orientation to lead with love for yourself and for others, you show up differently. It doesn't come about just checking the boxes. It's, well, how can I be the most loving for myself, for others in this moment?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if it's a skill orientation, maybe a little bit of both, but I do think it's helpful and critical. Um, Challenge is another key skill. Another key element here, both challenging yourself and challenging others, being a friendly lightning bolt, if you will, that puts people in a state of nervousness and excitement.
Hmm.
That beautiful position of both butterflies and goosebumps at the same time.
Hmm.
That is an element that is also a key skill, both internally for yourself. I mean, all of this is for yourself and for others as well.
For sure. Yeah.
That skill as well. Um, I think thinking that is grounded in reality and trends positive as well is also important.
Hmm.
And then I have a list here of listening, vulnerability, discipline, and grace.
Boy, I love all those. When as you said, like lead with love, I thought I'd love to see a competency model that has lead with love on the competency model. I really, because I actually do think it's that important.
Yeah.
We're talking about a love of purpose, a love of people, a love of, like for me, a deep belief in the potential of people.
Hmm.
Even with all the craziness, I always come back to, and I believe in humanity. I believe in it.
Yes.
I believe in us. I really believe in us. And you can feel that when it comes from somebody.
Yeah. Um, and I believe in humanity. I have love for humanity.
Hmm.
That's what it is. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it really is. It's interesting because one of the conversations I had, this might have been last week. The person I was interviewing was really a wonderful conversation, said something about she's noticing in her organization, and this was a more of a university setting, so different setting than what you're used to working in, because you're more in the retail setting. But in her setting, there was, she feels like people are losing the capability to have healthy conflict because we have so much division in the external world that people are a little nervous about. I don't want to say something wrong. I don't want to. So there's a little bit of walking on eggshells and kind of not engaging in conflict in the way that's really productive. We need conflict to innovate and to create new things and I just wonder what you're finding because I know you're doing a ton of coaching work with people.
Yeah, my coaching work tends not to be on conflict, although it'll come up every now and then. I know in my educational work, I spend a lot of time talking about conflict. And as my personal journey with conflict, I've gone from very conflict avoidant to more comfortable with conflict. Comfortable is probably the wrong word because I've learned that whenever I step into conflict, I still have like the tightness of my stomach, but
Hmm.
I'm more, I guess, more comfortable or tolerant of that feeling and just know it's part of the process.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and I've learned that it's a skill and it's something that you got to practice just like any other skill is how can you practice healthy conflict. And the problem is when you're in conflict and you're not showing up in a way that you're proud of, it stings. It's like, oh, I don't like who I was then there, and it feels awful and I don't know if I want to go there again. And it causes such big emotions as well,
Hmm.
but that's just part of the journey of learning.
Hmm.
And it's such a key skill as a leader is how can you have conflict that at the end of the day, even though you might not agree, both people feel listened to.
Hmm.
Um, and I think social media has probably exacerbated our ability to handle conflict. It's almost like social media and driving are intertwined in how people show up. You know, when people are driving, they tend to lose their emotional intelligence pretty quickly.
No, you mean like
Hand
road rage
signals,
and
yeah, a lot of road rage, and you see that on social media as well, where good friends that if they were in person with each other wouldn't say the things that they would like they do online. So there seems to be a connection with that. I don't know if that's making things worse or not, but yeah,
yeah,
that is such a critical skill to practice.
it is, especially when no matter who I talk to, everyone agrees. It feels like there's a lot of division in the, in the country and also in the world. So it's not just in this country. So, but you can't bridge division unless you're willing to get into conflict, in a healthy, more productive way, not the kind of conflict that I'm going to engage in it to prove that I'm right.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to engage in it to learn something new. And that's the kind of conflict that I think when you talk about, because for me, it's not in my gut, it'll be across my chest. I can feel my chest start tightening up when I'm about to engage in conflict
Mm.
or I find myself in it. So
What?
there's a defensive reaction, of course.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, notice what's going on. Notice what's going on. Now take a breath. You can just do that in the moment, quietly. And now, reground and move, but lean in if it feels like time to lean in. And there are moments where for me, it's not time to lean in. It's time to, I need to step away. This is too hot for me right now. I need to go take a walk and then
Mm.
come back and then
Yeah.
lean in. So, I mean, it's really, when we're talking about this, I realize how much it is about self-awareness and a desire to engage, a desire to connect with people that
Yeah.
aren't just like you, but that are different than you,
Yeah.
to make this pie bigger for everybody that we were talking about at the beginning.
What's it like being on the other side of you in a conflict?
Oh, that's a great question. Probably depends on the person. If you are someone from my team, I think it's it's it, like I think of team members that I have on my team. You know some of them very closely.
Mm-hmm.
I think we engage in conflict really well, and we engage. Like we will engage in conflict really well. Like we can name it, we can do it, we can. I just had a conflict with a team member a couple days ago, and we both knew this feels hard. In the middle of it, but we stuck with it, and then at the end, both of us said, "I really appreciate us
Wow.
for doing that."
Yeah.
Like something about wrapping that bow around it,
Mhm.
like just taking a step back and say, we just did a hard thing together. And so that was really good. If you're my husband, that may be a different story.
Mm-hmm.
I know that conflict closer in, what I've always heard is conflict closer in with the people who know you best can be the most challenging. And so, if you're
Say
David,
that again. You are exactly right.
yeah. So if you're David, my husband, you might say, okay, sometimes she's decent at it, and sometimes not so good, you know? So, but I will say we've now been 33 years. We do seem to come back and apologize,
That's great.
so apology is also a big deal when it comes to conflict and forgiveness.
Yeah.
Those are those are huge when it comes to conflict. How about you? What's it like being on the other side of conflict?
Well, I share that same dichotomy, whereas a professional version of me is tends to be more grounded and emotionally intelligent, and the home version of me not so much. I do think I've gotten a lot better at it, though.
Hmm.
Um, I've been paying attention to it a lot more, and there's two books that have helped me a lot with it. Um, one is Crucial Conversations,
Hmm.
and really helping me pay attention to what is the story I'm telling myself versus what are the facts in this situation. That's been really helpful. And another one is a book titled The Anatomy of Peace, which
Oh.
helps you look at whoever you're in conflict with, really understand them as a human versus an object. When you
Mhm.
start kind of seeing a person as an object, then it's it's easier to tell stories and get allies against them versus, oh, this is a real human being I'm working with. So,
I want to make a connection to what we started with in just this whole conversation, and that is I have a sense, and this is just my own theory, but I have a sense that part of what's happening in a polarized environment is that we make people, we often other people, we make them the other, we make them an object.
they,
They're the they, rather than, no, we are them. It's a we. It's a we, and we're all interdependent, and we're all on this big blue planet, and we got to figure this out. We got to figure out how to make this work. And it's complex. There's no right answer, no right answer. So it's going to be complex. That's a whole different spirit than the othering people.
You look at one of the skills that, when it comes to collaboration in organizations, it's um, if there are two goals that are in conflict with each other, what's the goal above it that might unify?
Yeah,
And that's the same thing in the world as well. Whether it's your neighbor or another country, what are those goals that unify us, and can we start there and focus there?
yeah, or your life partner.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
You and I can remember that next time we're in a conflict
absolutely.
with our life partners. Well, how else does this come to life in your own leadership and
Mm,
your own life? So you've already told me some examples of healthy conflict and the impact that someone you're working with, how it had on you when they said, "I see you."
yeah, I think part of thriving is being able to accept gifts and talents. And some people have a hard time accepting their own gifts and talents. For
Mm.
some reason, they push them away. I think I think they're thinking it's more noble, or I don't know. I don't know why they do it, but a lot of folks will push away their gifts and talents. And I love to help people accept their gifts and talents,
Mm.
because when you accept your gifts and talents, life becomes a lot better.
Mm.
I mean, you look at the answer to the question, what are you not good at? People are easily able to answer that. What are you good at? People can really struggle answering that. And it's such a beautiful question. I think in the last 10 years, me personally, I've gotten good at answering what am I good at?
Mm.
And it's helped me walk with more purpose, with more confidence, with more happiness. And
Mm.
I love to help others do that as well.
It's interesting because just kind of repeating back to you something you said earlier, it's like when you do that, you also give everyone else
Yeah.
permission to do that.
Yeah.
Everyone else can stand up and like shine a light on their light
Hmm.
and really be it and not have any qualms about it.
Yeah.
Thinking about your son Colin and how fun it was for me to meet him
Mhm.
personally and how much fun I had with him. He's
Yeah.
a light beam. So I
Hmm.
literally see that
Yeah,
um,
he's amazing.
reflected in him. Exactly what you're saying.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's that's one of the skills. I think also I'm looking at my notes here in terms of what I like to do is I'm good at helping people be uncomfortable, not for the sake of discomfort, but to grow takes uncomfortable, it takes the ability to be uncomfortable because it's
Hmm.
a place you've never been before. I've probably been better at that in my last 10 years, but I still struggle with that. It's like, oh, I know I got to go grow. Ugh. I get more comfortable with it as it happens.
Are there moments when you decide you don't have to grow? Like, is it okay to just maybe coast
Oh, yeah.
sometimes? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if coast is an adjective I'd prefer, but about be. I like that. Just
Okay.
chill and relax and enjoy versus striving for the next. Just, and I guess I would be striving for the next and enjoying where I am as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm about to go to Hawaii next week with my awesome wife and son to celebrate her 50th birthday, and I'm going to do a lot of being then.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Like you don't have to grow every moment.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What
Awesome.
about for you?
For me, what enables me to thrive?
Well, in terms of your moment of when coasting or growing or,
Oh, for growing and coasting. I have been doing more. I use the word coast because I had a coach many years ago who that was one of my assignments that Renee, I want you to practice coasting. Like you don't have to learn everything, There is a,
Oh,
like,
wow.
what's the motivation behind it? And when I would get deeper into the motivation, I think I feel it fell into the category you were talking about, which is someone who didn't feel like enough internally. And so then I needed to learn more and more and more and more to be valuable, to be worthy, to be, this is a while ago. I've done a lot of work on this.
Yeah.
But I was working with an executive coach and he said, well, how about coasting? Like, because it's in the coasting, and he didn't mean don't go learn. He just meant it's in the coasting that you can integrate everything. It's in the coasting, it's in the resting that you make new connections between everything you're learning. Everything doesn't have to be such a drive. And it was a great insight for me.
Mm,
So I would say today I'm much better actually at being, wherever I am and not feeling like I have to be on, all the time and driving and productive and I got to learn and we got to be on the edge and we got to be, even as I'm doing it, I feel I'm doing this with my fist. That's how it feels. It's a very
mm,
striving energy. And yet I'm still, I'm probably learning, I'm probably in a big learning phase right now in my life. For at least my life, I've gone through cycles of very intense learning. And then I'll have this period of, okay, nothing's really shaken up my worldview in a while. So I'm
mm-hmm.
learning, but it's more incremental learning, learning a new technology, learning that, but it's not shaking me up fundamentally. And then I'll be shaken again. And right now, I'm probably in a period of being shaken.
Mm.
Yeah.
By.
Being called to step forward and be more vocal about the kind of leadership I think is important for a healthier world. And I've been really good at making sure, however I speak, when I'm doing education, when I'm doing coaching work, when I'm facilitating, when I'm writing, that I've been very good at making sure it fits the language of business so that it's not seen as too strange. Like it can
Mm.
fit. And I'm kind of done with that. I feel pretty done with that part. Like I just
Done with not making it feel strange?
no, I'm done with accommodating my language so that it's
Okay.
comfortable for other people.
Okay.
So for me, as an example, when you said before leading with love, how much that impacted you. I've known for years, decades, that leading with love is like one of the most important things.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't have said it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, because I would have, well, the word love is going to really disturb some people. So we need to use the word well-being. We need to use the word purpose. We need anything else. And now it's like, no, let's just talk about leading with love. What does that mean?
You're right that that word is dressed up a whole lot in a lot of different books and workshops and classes and videos, and it, yeah,
It is. And now
well-being,
it's
it's
like,
all just
why?
love.
Why not let's just talk about leading with love? If you want to be more effective, more connected, why don't we want to thrive? Why don't we just talk about leading with love?
I agree.
Yeah.
You mentioned your relationship with coasting and how you had an assignment for that. I think
Yeah.
I come from this in the opposite side of things, is I'm pretty good at being and relaxing and having a good time um, and I can get complacent.
Hmm.
Uh, and one of the realizations I had when I went through my Be Well, Lead Well Pulse assessment with you, which was one of the things with thriving, was the discipline of it, is that
Interesting.
there is a big discipline with it to live your best life. There's a significant investment and discipline that comes with that.
Yeah. There is. It's a commitment. It's a commitment. And if I do believe if you're not authoring your life, the world will do it for you.
Mm,
There's other whether it's media, whether it's family, whether it's the culture you're in, whatever, will tell you what a good life is. There's lots of messages out there about what a good life is. But what a good life really is for you is what a good life is for you,
Yeah.
And so that's the journey. That's really the discipline.
Yeah. It won't be handed to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an absolute treat. I had no idea where we would go, Keith, and yet um, I knew I would enjoy every minute of it.
Yeah. Me too. I had that feeling of butterflies and goosebumps coming into this conversation because I know you think so differently than me. And then I got to the point as well, I don't need to be a her, I need to be a me. So I've really
Awesome.
enjoyed it as well.